Welcome to the Under Construction Podcast with me, Martin Williams. Here we talk about how to build or rebuild your life one step at a time. Let's get to work. And welcome to the Guided Expressions Podcast. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You may do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. All the links to the podcast can be found at guidedexpressions.com/podcast with an S. Today, I wanted to talk to you about consistency and patience. Consistency and patience. So it seems like what I see a lot of people fall into is this idea of the lottery, right? We live in a lottery type of world, and we have for a long time, where people are trying to make the big score instead of making little scores along the way. I alluded to this in a previous podcast called Stacking Wins, and I definitely would encourage you to listen to that as well. But with consistency, it's very important that we understand that life, success, business, whatever you want to do as far as improving your life, getting better, the two conduits, the two things that if you practice them every single day, you're going to have success. And that is consistency and patience. Okay? So what do I mean by consistency, right? I work out every day, no matter what, whether it's walking, going to the gym, there's times when I run, it doesn't really matter. But I make a decision every day that I'm going to work out. I primarily do this for my health, right? I primarily do this because I'm getting older. I'm not 20 anymore. And I want to, I want to be around. I want to live out my days. And I want to be able to not only live them out, but I want to live them out in the fullest health possible. So that's one of the main reasons. I really want to enjoy life, and I want to enjoy more of it, right? So I make a decision every day that I'm going to work out. And, at first this was not the easiest thing to do. I remember when I would go weeks, if not months, in between workouts, and, I didn't necessarily feel any difference in my health or anything like that because I was young. I also ate horribly, right? So, I didn't really feel it. I felt I had this feeling of invincibility. I felt like I could just do whatever and it'd be okay. And of course, we all know that that's not the case with life. In every case, the bill always comes due. So, I got to the point where I realized, okay, I can't eat the way I'm normally eating anymore. I gotta switch that up, right? And then I realized also I gotta add some exercise, some movement to this thing, right? So I made a decision to do that every single day, and so over time, right, over the past couple of years, I have lost a significant amount of weight, right? I also added in running, as I mentioned before. I started walking every day, because walking's easy. It gave me time to kind of de-stress. It gave me time to not think about, grown-up stuff and, work and bills and everything else. I could just work. I could just walk rather. And that was really good for me. And then, I started adding in resistance training and all of that. So my point is, every single day, I don't care what you do. There are people who definitely go all out with their workouts, and, God bless them and more power to them. But if all you do is walk every single day, within 10 years, you're going to have more health than the average person, because the average person doesn't walk every day. It's amazing how many millions of people I live around, but when I go out walking, I don't see a lot of people, right? So that tells you right there that everyone doesn't walk, and everyone has their reasons. Some people, their lives don't allow them to really have that time. They may be single parents, or they may be parents of, kids that need more attention or more time. They may be super busy, whatever the case may be. But if you have the opportunity to walk every single day, you should. And that's like the baseline single thing, right? So I made a decision that every day I'm going to do some kind of exercise. And I have an Apple Watch where you can kind of set the watch for a minimum amount of exercise every single day. So that's what I do. I set that minimum amount of exercise, and my goal is to reach that minimum amount every day. And what happens over time, like I said, you're going to have results. You're going to get results because you're consistent. And I think a lot of people, that kind of goes over their head because they're thinking, man, I gotta start this CrossFit routine. I gotta start running up a bunch of stairs and all these things. And all of that is good. Trust me, it's really good. But if you don't have the time to do that now, or if you haven't worked out in a long period of time, the best thing for you to do is just start where you are and just start working out now. Just start being productive where you are, right? So that, to me, sums up consistency. Now, let's say you're in business, right? Or let's say you're starting a business and you're trying to get it off the ground. And you might be saying, man, I just don't have the time. You might be working full time and you're trying to get the business off the ground part time. And you might be saying, man, it's really been tough to find the time, especially now, being home. So many people are home now. So, your kids are constantly there, and, you have a spouse who wants and deserves your attention and time and all of these things. How do I find the time to get this business going? And it's that same principle. You've got to decide, okay, I'm going to do this minimum amount every single day, right? Every single day, especially on the weekdays, is when this is really effective. So, you might say, okay, every single day I'm going to post 3 times. And every single day I'm going to work at least 30 minutes on a product or a service that I can sell for money, right? And as you continue to put that work in, at the end of that 30 days or at the end of that 60 days, you'll have a product ready to sell, right? So what I decided to do was I decided to put out a free product within 30 days. So every day I'm going to work on that product. Every day I'm going to advance that product further, right? And then when that product is done, when I've tested it and it works and everything else, then it goes to a place where people can enter in their credit card and buy it. And in all my content, I'm letting people know that they can go to this website and buy it, right? So that, to me, if you do that, maybe after 1 month, just like working out, after 1 month, you may notice some results, but you probably won't be where you want to be within the month, right? And that's fine. But how about after 12? Okay? If you ran or walked 3 miles a day for 12 months, you will not weigh the same, okay? And that's even with a bad diet. Now, if you really decide to rein in your diet and stop eating exorbitant amount of sugar and carbs and everything else, and, eliminate soda, things like that. If you really decided to rein in your diet, you would probably be at your ideal weight, with some exceptions, of course. But my point is that consistency, right? Where is that consistency? If you're not where you want to be, how consistent have you been in the past 6 months on your goal? Whatever it is, whether it's losing weight, making more money, getting out more, whatever the case is, how consistent have you been towards that goal? Because really that's going to determine your results, right? The other piece of that is patience. A lot of people want everything to happen right away, right? We want our results now, right? We live in a right now society. Everything's at our fingertips. Everything is on demand. We press a button, boom, right? Giving away my age a little bit, but I come from a time where you had to wait for a movie to come to the theater in order for you to see it. Like, if the movie didn't come to the theater, you didn't see it, right? So it's amazing that I can just open up an app and watch virtually any movie I want. It's pretty cool, but that's not how life is, right? Life is a series of progression. So a lot of times people want to go from being 100 pounds overweight to having washboard abs, having, being at their ideal weight, whatever the case may be. And that's just not how it works. The way it works is that you sow the seed, which is the activity, and then there's time, and then there's the harvest, right? Seed time and harvest. And the Bible says that it will always be like that until the end of time. It will always be seed time and harvest, but you got to sow the seed. You got to wait a little bit, and then you get the harvest. That's how life works, right? Sow the seed, wait a little bit, get the harvest. Okay? Now, the Bible also says that some get 30-fold, some get 60-fold, and some get 100-fold, meaning that sometimes the harvest isn't consistent. Sometimes the harvest, you get a little bit, and then sometimes you get a little more, and sometimes you get a lot. But you don't know which one you're going to get until you sow, right? So, that's cool because it kind of keeps life interesting. The point is to sow. The point is to be consistent and be patient, right? Be patient when you put the work into your business and maybe the sales aren't coming yet. You just got to be consistent. You got to keep sharing the message, keep creating products, keep letting people know, keep improving the products, keep sharing, keep letting people know, keep producing content, keep creating products, keep letting people know. And that's all you can do, right? Now, if you do it just one time, you might get a harvest. You might get, your sister or your brother or a cousin buying your book or buying your course, right? Some people you might get mercy sales, right? People might say, I'm just going to buy it because he's a cool guy or she's a cool lady. And, I'll just buy it just because, right? Which is fine. Money is money. So, if it comes, that's great. But, as you consistently do it, right? If you just do it that one time, you might get those sales. But if you stop, then you got to basically start all over again, right? And you can't allow your emotions to get the best of you. This is what usually happens with people. I know it's happened with me, is that, you start something, you don't get the result that you wanted, and then you say, man, what's the use? Or you just allow yourself to be kind of taken into something else. And usually that something else isn't prospering you like this can prosper you, right? So what you have to decide is that no matter what the sales are, I'm not going to allow my emotions to get the best of me to the point where I don't put another cycle into play, to the point that I don't, basically restart the entire process. Too many people start, stop, and then restart. Okay. And you do that your whole life, you're not going to really have anything. Okay. You got to basically start doing this consistently and then just keep going. Just keep going no matter what. Basically, no matter how many things I sell, right? I'm launching again, in a month or every quarter. I think you should launch monthly or quarterly, right? So no matter how things go, I don't care how much I sell. If I sell one, if I sell 1 million, I'm launching again, right? And that basically has to be your attitude, because if you allow people to dictate your launch schedule, you'll never launch. Because the average person doesn't launch anything. The average person doesn't do anything, right? If someone online says, oh, this is a waste of money, don't buy it, blah, 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 don't get offended, because they're not doing anything. I promise you. If they were doing something, they wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't be bringing you down, right? But too many people allow the opinions of others to determine what it is that they're going to do. So you just got to be patient. You just got to wait for the process to play out. But you don't wait and not do anything. The way you wait is you launch, you prepare to launch again. And then you get those results back. You learn from it. You learn what works, what doesn't, right? You may throw a bunch of money at Facebook ads and then decide, hey, Facebook ads didn't bring a dime to me, right? I spent all this money on Facebook ads and it didn't do anything, right? And you may determine that organic content was the best way because all you did was produce organic content, and that's what brought in the customers. So, and nothing against Facebook ads, because I know that they work for a lot of people. And you may have a completely opposite story. My point is, whatever works, keep doing that. But you won't find out what works until you do it, okay? So you got to experiment, keep experimenting, keep trying, keep experimenting, keep tinkering. Just keep doing it, and then one day you figure out, okay, this is what works. I'm going to put in a certain amount of money in Instagram ads. I'm going to put a certain amount of money in Facebook ads, and then the rest of my time and income, maybe I hire someone to do some more content for me. Whatever works, do that, but you won't find out what works until you actually do it. And so that's why you got to be patient. You can't give up after the first launch. You can't give up mid-launch. You can't give up pre-launch. Don't give up until the thing is launched. And even after that, don't give up. Just keep going, keep launching. If this is something that you want to do, you gotta launch. You gotta keep launching. Now I'm using a business example, but it's the same thing in anything else. If you're trying to lose weight and after 2 weeks, you only lost a pound, be happy about that pound, right? But you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing, right? So I went way longer than I should have in this podcast. But my point is, be consistent, be patient. And if you employ those two things and you continue to do that, you can have anything you want. There's no limits on what you can achieve. There's no limits on what you can have. So my name is Martin Williams. Thank you so much for tuning into the Under Construction podcast. You can go to my website, guidedexpressions.com. That's with an S, .com. And you can check out my products, check out all the cool stuff I got going on there. And I will see you back here for the next podcast. Until then, be blessed. Don't forget to subscribe to the Under Construction podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. For more information on Guided Expressions courses and products, go to guidedexpressions.com/products.